Hello friends, we have this Viking gas range dual fuel. The customer's one complaint was that the main complaint here was that the unit would not maintain its temperature. So I opened the bottom kick plate. You have to remove this. There's another plate, you have to remove that, and then there's two screws. You have to remove that in order to get to the main control board, but you do not have to do that. So before that, the bake element is also located at the bottom of this unit. In order to get to the bottom of the oven here where the bake element is, you have to remove another panel that's held by a couple of screws. You have to open at least four to six screws to get to the bake element. There's also some insulation. Once you remove the insulation and the plate or the kick plate, everything from here, you will have access to the bake element. You can check your bake element for continuity. If the bake element seems okay, you have to reinstall it back in, and now you have to go through diagnostic and testing of some contacts here, and then eventually you're going to find out that this main control board located on the left hand side at the bottom of this unit needs to be replaced, and that will take care of the heat issue. When the customer is complaining about the oven not maintaining its temperature, the first thing I want to do is I check my convection element, because convection element is also very common on some of the units. By removing that back plate, you will have full access to the convection element. You can check it for continuity from there, or if you don't want to check it for continuity, you can just remove that back panel and then select convection from here, and then from there you can see it if the convection element gets red hot or not. So that's another way of testing it without a multimeter. So I was able to replace this main control board. The new control board looks a little bit different. In order to sync the main control board to the display board, you also have to replace the display board with the new board. The new board does not look like this. The relays are blue and white, different colors. I replaced this. I also had to replace the display board. The other good part is when I replaced the display board, now you can see my display lights are looking very bright. Before, when I had this old display board, the lights were also very dim. They were not very bright. And here's the part number for it. I will also show you the model number here. The model number is located right there. And at the same time, I also had to replace the broil element, because the broil element, I'll show you something here. You may not see it properly, but one part of the broil element is sinking down. And what happens is, when that part of the broil element sinks down, you could see it clearly from here. By opening the door, if you look straight in that corner, and if you get the feeling that the broil element is not in good shape, please recommend your customer to replace it, because by replacing that, the customer is not only saving money on the broil element, they're actually also saving money on the new control board. Because what happens over time, when the broil element, the filament kind of sinks down, it sets down, and then eventually it burns from there. If it burns and shorts to ground, it will also damage the main control board again. And then of course your warranty is going to be 3 months, but this control board, because of the broil element, may go bad after 6 months, and then you have to replace the broil element again, and the control board. That's very costly for the customer. So explain the situation to your customer that your broil element is not looking in good shape, it's not looking good. Recommend replacing it. If they didn't replace it, then it's okay. This is also the main control board part number if you wanted to replace it for this model. And when you receive the new broil element, it's very easy and simple to replace it. You just have to pull the oven out, work on it from the inside and outside from the back by removing this plate. And then there's one more plate at the back. You remove that, and there is side panel, you remove that, and then you can disconnect your wires. So the new broil element comes with a connector that looks like this. See the gray color? yellow, and then this is a purple color. This jumper wire, you're gonna replace this too. If the element is looking like this with these wires, if it looks original, then what you can do is you have to get this jumper wire. You will have colors, the color of the wires coming out from the back of the oven. You have to connect each of those here. At the back you will have two yellow wires that goes on these, and then you have a purple and gray. You're gonna follow those, add them together, and then the new broiler element comes with a connector that looks like this. Once you connect the wires coming from the main control board to the back of the oven, you connect it into this jumper wire. From there you can connect this jumper wire into the new element, because the new element will not come with these kind of wires. It will come with wires, but at the end you will have a jumper cable, and then that jumper cable gets connected here. And that's all. The other thing I just want to mention is that when you replace the broil element, of course you're going to take the back screws out. There's those screws, this one, that one, and this one. They're 5/16 screws. When you take those off, push the broil element closer to the back and then drop it down. When you install your new element, this is really important. I was having a very hard time with this. When you install the new element, please make sure that the element is not in this position. You keep your element in this position. You keep it in this position, and then reinstall your wires at the back, and then after that you can lift it up and add your screws back, and everything will go well. So what I did was, by mistake, I had my element in this position facing towards me. I added these wires at the back, and then I closed the back. Everything was done, so I came in the front to turn it around to install it to the ceiling of the oven, and then I was having a very hard time. I almost broke the wires here because we do not have enough space to turn this element inside of the oven. If you turn it like this inside of the oven, you cannot do that easily. So that was the biggest issue. And the other thing I got a little bit scared was when you install this new element, you see this area, those wires. I thought those wires were touching this bracket, so I pulled my meter out and I checked those wires to this panel for continuity, to make sure nothing was shorting to ground, because that bracket I installed was very closer to the back of this element. You see these wires? The bracket was almost touching it. But the good part is it's not touching, it's just my imagination. Other than that, the oven is running perfectly fine, and this is a good oven to spend money on and replace the parts on it. Thank you.